Well, this should be fun. Hello and welcome to the Knicks Film School Postgame Show presented by BetUS. My name is Andrew Claudio, aka GMAC. It is time to talk about the Knicks' loss to the Los Angeles Clippers, 105-95 at the new Intuit Dome, downtown Inglewood, I believe, is where that new building that used to be. I actually don't know if Dolan has an association with it. I know the Forum is a Dolan building. You could see me delaying talking about the basketball game, which was the beginning of life without Jalen Brunson. For those just tuning in, I don't know why you're tuning into a post-game show and you don't know what happened to Jalen Brunson. The evaluation or the diagnosis is that it's an ankle sprain. X-rays were negative. The severity of the ankle sprain is not yet known. I think all of us have done our Googles and paid attention to the sports medicine doctors online that have said if it's a grade 1 sprain, there's a chance it's a 2-week injury. And that's the official diagnosis. The Knicks will reevaluate him in 2 weeks. If it's a grade 2 sprain, we're talking a 3 to 6 week injury, and hopefully he's back for playoffs. And if it's a grade 3 sprain, curtains potentially on this player's season, this captain of ours, and potentially what the Knicks can do in the playoffs. Shout out to CP, the franchise, also went out there today and said that what he's hearing is that it's not, nothing's broken, nothing's what the report said, but that he's hearing that he could be back for playoffs. So maybe this is an OG Anunoby situation like last year where they get him back early April. The vacuum of this road trip and maybe even just this game is that the Knicks are going to have to figure out a way to win basketball games and not fall too far in the standings without their captain. And you saw the glaring hole that was the Knicks without Jalen Brunson tonight in LA. This is a team that looked like they lost their best player less than 24 hours ago. This is a team that looked like they were learning how to play without Jalen Brunson for the first real time this season. The shot distribution kind of dictates that. All 5 starters with at least 12 field goal attempts. I challenge anybody, if you can put it in the chat, I'll look. Has that happened this year? Have the Knicks had 5 starters in a regulation game take at least 12 field goal attempts? And that's really how they're going to have to do this. I have some grace for the situation in general. I'm not able to generate too much angst or anger for this game in particular. Did I think there were some things they could have done better, like shoot better? Probably. The Clippers hit some tough threes as well. Some generated open looks. Nick Batum, nice to see you. Turned into the play-in version of Nick Batum that eliminated the Heat, or I guess began to eliminate the Heat, and gave us that Knicks-Sixers matchup last year. Nick Batum with 17 points, 5 of 7 from 3, which was extremely frustrating. But yeah, it's a bulletin board. It's a front page headline: Knicks lose without Jalen Brunson. And these next 2 days are going to be where Tom Thibodeau, who has taken a lot of arrows this year, is going to have to show how prepared a coach he is, because he's going to have to figure out over the next 2 days, over the next road trip, over the next couple weeks, how they can find some success without Jalen Brunson. And tonight, you saw some good, you saw some bad. But yeah, this was a team that lost their best player 24 hours ago, and they certainly played like it. As far as individual performances in this game, or just the rhythm of this game, I should say, I actually start out with they got out to a 9-0 deficit, and I was wondering if this would be us doing trivia in the second half and potentially me going on in the middle of the third quarter to do a post game, because this team had, a silent quit on this team and on the season. And the reputation of this team, or at least this culture, an immediate 10-0 run to get back into it. This team took a 9-point lead at one point in the second quarter, and then a Clippers team that is not known for hitting threes ended up shooting 11 of 19 in the first half from 3. I think the annoying part, if you're emotionally reacting to this game, is then the regression came in that third quarter, where the Clippers only scored 19 points. There was a stretch of over 7 minutes where they didn't score, where they didn't hit a field goal, and the Knicks couldn't capitalize. The score was locked at like 78-72 for the majority. And then the fourth quarter came, and the Knicks kind of ran out of gas. Yeah, they're missing that primary hub that they can ignite their offense through. As far as individual performances go, I'll pivot to that. It's got to start with Cat, I guess. 8 of 21 from the field, 23 points, 10 rebounds. I thought there were times he was forcing it. You know, that all the talk about the Josh Hart and the spacing issues that they've had, and you do still see them where if Cat drives and he's got a smaller guy on him, and like there was a moment where Zubac was playing in drop and Cat is driving and Batum comes over to help, and now Cat is taking a shot on two guys because they're ignoring Josh Hart. And you know, Cat gets it's an inefficient shot and he gets defended well. Then on a different possession, Cat notices the double team, passes out. Josh Hart is reluctant to shoot, and Cat's yelling, "Shoot the ball!" Like this is what they're gonna have to get used to. And look, Josh Hart, it's tough to really attack him for this game. Guy played 46 minutes the night after playing 40 plus. Across town at the crypto.com arena in overtime. Guy finished at 14 points, 19 rebounds, 6 assists, was largely their initiator in the starting five. I did like that they ran some stuff from Mikal Bridges as well. Finishes with a very efficient 22 points on 12 shots, 8 of 12 from the field. Got to the line 6 times tonight. I'd be curious if the chat wants to tell me if Mikal Bridges, if that's his season high for free throw attempts in a game. But you really started to see it with the second unit that like he was cutting more. They were running some pistol sets for him, taking advantage of transition. You know, this isn't just going to be play off of Jalen Brunson and be opportunistic when you can. They're going to have to actually call some stuff for Mikal, and he's going to have to be aggressive, looking to get more involved. And I thought you saw that at points in this game. Look, it's tough to limit this to just 3-point shooting, but the Knicks went 9 of 34 from 3, and it's why I then have to go to Deuce McBride, who, look, I maintain he's not a point guard, he's a 2-guard, and an undersized 2-guard at that. There were moments where you saw his size being taken advantage of, whether it be James Harden with Deuce guarding him or Kawhi Leonard with Deuce guarding him. Guy went 2 of 9 from 3 tonight. I like the 9 attempts. I don't like the 9 makes. Now, I'm not trying to single out Deuce. Anunoby also went 2 of 8 from 3. Cat went 2 of 7 from 3. Josh Hart went 1 of 4. Again, across the board, this team didn't hit their threes tonight. But if Deuce, in these moments, especially now that he's the starting point guard, probably for the next month or so, he's going to have a couple of these nights where he's just unconscious to create an advantage, and more importantly, give them an opportunity to win without their captain. The Precious minutes I didn't hate. I know that he's been an ire of a lot of fans, for myself included, over the last couple of weeks. That's more how he's used. I don't think he's a starting power forward. I think he's an emergency backup center. And with the Knicks shorthanded and no Mitchell Robinson on the second night of a back-to-back, I thought he played very good. He was a +3 in 16 minutes, 9 points, and good moves off the dribble. They had some moments where him at the top of the key or the free throw line, and he's finding guys cutting back door, those pig sets, or blind pig sets, I should say. I thought Precious Achiuwa played well. I thought Landry Shamet in 17 minutes, good first half, not so great second half. Him and the Champagne minutes really do boil down to, are they hitting shots? They were hitting them in the first half or generating good offense in the first half. It's how the Knicks built their lead. And then in the second half, where it's funny, all the talk about how many minutes the starters have played this year, and yet I was like, get the starters back in at a certain point. They only played 5 minutes in the second half. They were a -7. The fourth quarter, I should say, because they were down 1 going into the fourth quarter. And then that stretch to start the fourth, where the Champagne team, or duo, I should say, that lineup was a -7, about 5.5 minutes. And by the time the starters came back in, you're down 8, you're trying to find some offense, and just the Knicks, 17 fourth quarter points. They did not have one. Again, we're going to be saying this a lot over the next couple weeks. They didn't have Jalen Brunson, and it was tough to find consistent offense when You're missing that, especially when you're trying to come back in a game. And the one way they'll be able to generate offense is obviously hitting their threes. And when you're not hitting that, it's curtains. So, look, this is going to take some processing from, I think, a lot of us, that these next, at least this road trip to start, and then we'll reevaluate. I guess 2 weeks from Thursday is not the end of the road trip. It's the end of the first couple games after the road trip. If you're looking for any type of silver lining contextually, the schedule does get somewhat easier after they get back from this West Coast trip. If you're looking ahead to the home stretch or the schedule when they get back, they do come home and play Miami on Monday the 17th. Then they go out to San Antonio, out to Charlotte, and then it's Washington and Dallas. Those 5 games with Brunson, I was thinking could be a winning streak. Without him, you're hoping you get to that stretch. You're not fighting for the 4 or 5 seed at that point. Like the game I'm circling on the calendar is May 28th against Milwaukee, because there's a world where that's a battle for the 3 seed with what the Knicks are, with how well Milwaukee's played since Kuzma, with what the status of Jalen Brunson might be. And it'll be interesting to see how much this organization prioritizes being the 3 seed or having home court in the first round. Because if Brunson's not 100% by that stretch, I would be more inclined to leave him out, to not force him to return. But I also recognize who's the head coach, who Jalen Brunson is, and how this organization is operated. That if you're healthy, you play. If you're healthy enough, I should say, you play. That's really all I got about this game. Look, the Clippers hit a ton of threes when they're not a team that normally hits a ton of threes. You know, this is a Clippers team that came into this game 16th. In fact, I have my pregame pod notes right in front of me. They came into this game 19th in offensive rating. They didn't have a great offensive rating today. 107, I believe. 108. That's not a great offensive rating. We're one of the worst in the league. The Knicks had a 97.9 offensive rating, which would be the worst offense in the league, which goes to the Clippers being the 4th ranked defense, which I wasn't fully intimidated by their defense tonight. I think the Knicks win, and maybe even win by a lot with Jalen Brunson, but you do see their deflections being a thing, Zubac mucking things up when they're in help, that being a thing as well. I thought they looked like a very beatable 6 or 7 seed, like 7 or 8 seed even. And when you're the Knicks and you're operating with the roster you have right now, look probably like a very beatable 6 or 7 seed. So, we'll see what the next couple weeks look like. James Harden had I was interested to see how he would play tonight. It was very clear early on that the numbers of he's shooting under 40% for the season, and around 33% from 3. And that checks out. Like very early on, first quarter, the crunch time offense we hate of 4 guys stand around and watch Brunson, that's what they run with James Harden. Now he has the court vision to find shooters. Some of the collapses and the flare double teams that the Tibbs was calling out were leading to open shots. It's how Nick Batum gets 5 threes. But Harden goes 7 of 20 from the field. You live with that. You don't love the 5 of 12 from 3. But if it's just the James Harden show, you probably have a chance to win. It's then when Nick Batum, again, has 17 points on 9 shots. It's when Bojan Bogdanovic, who didn't shoot the ball well, but has 12 rebounds in this game. I said Bojan. This is Bogdan who did this for the Clippers. Derek Jones Jr., 9 points off the bench. Kawhi only 1 of 6 from 3, had a couple of open looks, especially during that stretch in the second half. It ends up being just that they hit 6 more threes than the Knicks in just a few more attempts than they did. That's all I really got about this game, people. I'm sure there'll be some frustration in the chat tonight. I'm here to answer your questions, to go through the supers. I'll hang out for a little bit. Obviously, we have a show we still have to do, but there is a reality that we're all going to have to accept over the next little bit. And it's that this isn't the fully optimized version of the 50-plus win team, or at least the fully available version. Let me restart that because I want to make sure I get this point out clear. There's a reality we have to accept that this is not the 50-plus win team that some of us have come to enjoy this season. This is a very significantly shorthanded, handicapped version of that team. And it's going to take an all-hands-on-deck effort to make sure the ship doesn't completely sink until Jalen Brunson comes back. I like the shot distribution shows that everybody was going to have a hand in trying to come back, that this wasn't just, okay, Cat, take 30 shots and hopefully we have a chance to win. No, this was the entire starting five getting at least 12 shots up. And it's going to take a lot more than that. And it's going to take some efficient shooting on some of these nights as well to make sure we're not staring at a lost season because of a turned ankle. So that's all I got. Let's go to the super chats. I'm sure there will be rational reactions to a loss and the second night of a back-to-back without Jalen Brunson. We'll start though. Get it all out, guys. I'm here to be your therapist. I'm here to react. I'll do what I can to co-sign some of your worries and to hear you out. Let's start with Yanni Golan. This came in before the game. Yanni Golan. Yanni, tell me if I'm pronouncing your last name incorrectly. I'll correct myself in the chat. Yanni Golan. Problem with Tibbs playing starters all these minutes is he empowers no one on the bench, and now you can't nothing. I'm reading that correctly. And now you get nothing out of them, I think is what you meant to say, when you need them. So angry for him for putting this team in this situation. I don't know who you wanted to be empowered at this point in the season, especially when this is a team contending that made a very significant consolidation trade before the season. I don't like Campaign. I thought he played him like a couple minutes too many tonight. Landry Shamet a couple minutes too many. There's some very clear guys. If this is a Deuce conversation, this is one we've had all year. And Deuce played 34 minutes tonight, went 2 of 13. And Deuce has been empowered in the past and has showed he's more of a 30-minute player that plays off of another lead guard. But I don't think I understand the frustration, Yanni. I don't know if I can fully point to this. Like the blueprint was going to collapse if Jalen Brunson went down. There's no there's no one there to step up. You're seeing this with the Grizzlies right now. Like Jaren Jackson Jr. went down and they lost 4 straight. Look at Orlando. Like all of their guys went down and some guys were able to step up, but they're in the play-in right now. So yeah, I don't have the player to point to, and maybe when Tyler Kolek gets there, we'll see like an empowered Tyler Kolek that now has a chance with the second unit. I'm assuming he's going to be the 9th man going forward, but yeah, I understand the frustration. All the situation that you're alluding to that you believe Tibbs put them in is a frustrating one, regardless of whether it's actually his fault for the situation. Thank you, Yanni. Boom goes with the super chat. No way he left Champagne out there after the timeout. The grace I have for Tibbs is that they played. This is the second night of a back-to-back. The place I co-signed is I did think that stretch was critical. That it was a 5-minute, 26-second stretch in the fourth quarter to start the fourth quarter. Knicks were down 1 to start the quarter, barely generated any offense in that fourth quarter. I'm staring at it now. So it was down 1 to start the quarter, and over the 5 minutes and 26 seconds that Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, Precious Chua, Campaign, and Landry Shamet played, the Knicks were outscored by 7, 14-7 over that stretch. And then when the other 2 lineups that they used were used over the final 6 and change, only outscored by 2, but mostly played even. But it was that stretch that lost them the game. So I understand that him leaving that lineup in was frustrating. Second night of a back-to-back, Cat's playing with a bum knee. Deuce McBride was not shooting well, so maybe you leave the veteran out there. Shamit's played well lately, so it wasn't fully like I was fine with him actually getting more than 1 minute in the second half. So it's really an Anunoby conversation. Should OG Anunoby have played another 40-minute game on the second night of a back-to-back? And he ends up playing 37, which is around his season average. There is a part of me that was actually kind of okay with them letting Anunoby be under 40 minutes tonight, even if, to your point, Boom goes, that might have lost in the game. Now, to be clear, I don't think it lost in the game. I think in the vacuum of that stretch that created some distance, they didn't have Jalen Brunson. That lost in the game. But I hear the frustration. I hear you, man. Or woman. I actually don't know. That's gender neutral. Boom goes. Thank you, Boom goes. Whoever you are, whatever you are, for the contribution. Yanni Golan with another one. All this talent on the court, and we look like the pre-Leon Knicks. This is sad to watch. Where do we go from here? Okay, Yanni, I hear you. It's frustrating. It's sad to watch. Yes, the Knicks without Jalen Brunson sucks. I'm gonna have to go ahead and do this. I'm gonna pull up the roster from the 2019 home opener. Just allow me to do that, if you don't mind, because to say this is worse than the pre-Leon Knicks, or look like the pre-Leon Knicks when all-star starter Karl-Anthony Towns is out there. Josh Hart had 19 rebounds tonight and has been like, there was conversations he should be an all-star starter, not all-star, an all-star if like in a weird world where we put role players in the all-star game. There's there's guys like Mikal Bridges, who has played in finals before. There's OG Anunoby, like these guys that any team would want on the team. Again, they're like a very beatable 7 seed probably right now. The pre-Leon Knicks never sniffed the 7 seed, never sniffed play-in stretches, even if like the world where the play-in had existed before Leon. The Knicks would be like what the play-in is today in the East. Like, oh, we're 14 games under 500, but in a play-in race, because that matters, right? I gotta pull this up because we need some context here. I hear the frustration. It's sad. It is very sad. Life without Jalen Brunson in general. I'm right there with you. Let's do me a favor. Let's take a look. It's taking me a minute to pull this up. So 24-25 Knicks franchise index. Going through Basketball Reference. Shout out to Basketball Reference. Please sponsor Knicks Film School. I'm going to go to 2019-20 and pull up schedule and results. Then we're going to the box score against the San Antonio Spurs, their road opener, their opening night game against San Antonio Spurs. Knicks lost by 9. Starting was Marcus Morris, who's currently out of the league, and the best contribution he made to the Knicks that year was he got them Emmanuel quickly. RJ Barrett, rookie RJ Barrett, 9 of 13 from the field that night. Good game. Julius Randle, 10 of 18, future All-Star. Not the version of Julius Randle that some would come to know and love. Bobby Portis, a 6th man, starting and playing 33 minutes. Alonzo Trier, who was out of the league. That was the starting 5. Then Elfrid Payton, Kevin Knox, who is a backup in Golden State and has been journeyman around the league right now. Wayne Ellington, Dennis Smith Jr., Frank Ntilikina, Taj Gibson. Come on. This is as sad as the pre-Leon Knicks. That we're talking about a stretch of basketball, a long stretch of basketball after Carmelo Anthony, where this team didn't sniff 500. This team didn't sniff 35 wins. In fact, let me just go to it. From the 54 win season where they were the 2 seed with Melo, then the following year they were 37-45 under Mike Woodson. 17 wins, 32 wins, 31 wins, 29 wins, 17 wins, 21 wins. Those are all the years before Leon Rose took over. I recognize that expectations are the thief of joy, but it's still not that bad. It's a rough stretch that we're going to have to go through right now. It's still not that bad. So thank you for the contribution. I can recommend a movie if you need to get your escape elsewhere, Yanni. I do. But like I promise you, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. Okay. Like, let me know. There's some really good movies that just won Oscars that I can recommend. Good shows. Severance has been great. The White Lotus on HBO. I'm telling you, the new Daredevil series on Disney, they're all great. Okay, Yanni, I got you. There's other ways. Okay. Thank you, Yanni, for the super chat. Russ Guberman, after a loss. Long time no see, brother. I actually do want to say something. I know I'm the hating ass Mets fan, right? That we all hate. So, I actually do feel bad about the Garrett Cole news, and I hope he doesn't need the surgery that ends the season for most pitchers. I was like very sad to see that like all the Yankees spring training story has been a lack of health and a lot of injuries popping up. I hope Garrett Cole's okay. I don't see the Yankees be the Magic this year. So I hope he's all right, and I hope for the best news possible. Okay. AC, I'm far from a chronic Tibbs complainer, but this current roster has one above average playmaker, and he never got on the floor, Tyler Kolek. What's really up? I'm pretty sure someone already corrected you in the chat or notified you in the chat. Tyler Kolek was on assignment, like was playing in Westchester earlier this week. Then in the middle of the night Eastern on Thursday, the Knicks lost Jalen Brunson. And so, yes, he probably could have gotten on a plane that day, the amenities being what they are. He's apparently on a plane now to join the Knicks on the road trip. It's similar to like a minor league call-up. But yeah, he'll be there Monday most likely. If this super chat is coming in on Monday and Tyler Kolek doesn't play and they're only playing 8 guys, I'm right there with you. But yeah, he didn't play because he wasn't there. That's the answer to that. I agree they do need another playmaker, especially with that second unit. So we see a little less Champagne. But yeah, that's why, Russ. And thank you for the super chat. I know this is the routine, the post-loss super chat, but good to hear from you, and I hope you're doing well and finding peace outside of sports, apparently. So thank you, Russ. Kernaz Tilke, Towns trade. Thank you for this. Thank you for the contribution. Towns trade nuked this team. He pains me to watch. What's funny is I don't think the Towns trade did it. I think it raised their ceiling a little bit, but I think you can make the case it lowered their floor in a certain world. Plenty of transaction cycles to go over the stretch of this core. This is year one, and it's not always supposed to happen in year one. So I don't know if it nuked this team, because if anything, it created a new version of this team. I'll hear the Mikal Bridges one in a couple of years if they're still struggling to get out of the second round or even the first round, and they have no assets to trade to get better. But I can't. They weren't extending Julius Randle. They had just lost Hartenstein. Is Dante sorely missed? Yes, they very clearly are missing a 2 guard that isn't afraid to shoot the ball. I can't say it nuked this team, though, Kernaz. I recognize the frustration. Cat has some very frustrating moments. My God, man, put your hands up on defense. It's those effort plays. And that's why I empathize with Tibbs putting him in drop, because, well, that's the other thing. Like, if you're going to have Towns optimized on defense, then having him not foul, which he has like a fouling problem, is probably why he doesn't put his hands up. It's probably why he's backpedaling into oblivion, but has led to the moments where him and drop has been so unsuccessful. Yeah, there were some moments I was frustrated with Cat tonight, but he raises the ceiling of this team significantly. And hopefully, look, we still have a lot of basketball left this year. Obviously, we've talked about it already. At least last night we did. Guy's going through a lot right now, pretty personal trial that he's experiencing at the moment. But as far as what he's doing on the court, it doesn't pain me to watch, even if I do get frustrated him at times too. So thank you for the super chat. Kobe Bryant, but spelled Coby and with 3 T's. So it's like a stutter at the end. Kobe Bryant. Thank you for the super chat, Kobe Bryant. I wish the Lakers had lost last night. This stretch without JB will determine the fate of Bridges' season. If he can't prove he can create, he's just not what we signed up for. Well, one night down, 8 of 12 from the field, 22 points, very efficient, very aggressive in certain stretches. Thought he played good defense as well. I think that's a lot of why Kawhi Leonard had the night that he had. I thought he and did a good job on Harden when he was matched up on him as well. There was that stretch in the second quarter when the Knicks took the lead. They were switching everything, and you saw like what him and Josh Hart and Anunoby and Precious, like all of them. I guess there were stretches where Anunoby wasn't on, but there were moments when they were switching, and you saw like, okay, if you want to switch off of Bridges, here comes Anunoby. If you want to switch off of Anunoby, here comes Josh Hart. Even Precious Achiuwa, like the small ball 5, this can be effective for 4 or 5 minutes defensively. Yeah, this is an important stretch for Mikal. If he internally has been frustrated with his shot selection, with his shot diet, with his role in the offense, well, Mikal, here's your turn. You know, you're going to get a chance to really shine over these next couple of weeks, maybe month or so. So we'll see what happens. But thank you, Kobe Bryant, for the super chat. Stan Brad 13. Second night of a back-to-back, no JB. There are no back-to-backs in the playoffs. We should be fine. Don't judge these players by this game. Give Tibbs time, I believe. Stan Brad, we need more of you in this chat, in the world. My goodness, this is the context and the perspective that I need, that I was hoping someone would have tonight. I also understand people being frustrated. This week has been very frustrating. Jeremy, congrats. You won the week. Not only did you win, but the Knicks went 0-3. So, look, Tibbs has worked his magic in the past. We've seen him work his magic with this team in the past. So I'm hoping the same, especially over these next couple of weeks. Last year in particular, we saw like they're shorthanded. Okay, he's going to go to work and find what he can find. So, love the perspective, Stan Brad. Hopefully they match and reward said perspective with a good stretch over the next couple of weeks. Thank you so much for the super chat. Okay, it is time to take a quick break to tell you all about the fine folks. You know who we're talking about, the fine folks over at, when I can pull up the overlay, you will find out at BetUS. Did you know that BetUS also has a casino? For all my followers who like slots or live casino dealers, take advantage of BetUS's amazing sign-up bonus, 200% sign-up bonus to up to $5,000 or 250% for crypto sign-up bonus up to $5,000. Get ready for a rush with the BetUS Casino. Generous promotions and tournaments make every plan more rewarding. Sign up now and experience the difference. And as always, use promo code YouTube150 to receive a 150% bonus on your first deposit, as well as a 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000. Quick reminder, gambling involves risk. Please only gamble with funds that you can afford to lose. All forms of betting carry financial risk, and it is down to the individual to make bets with or without the assistance of information provided. We continue on. It's going to be a short one tonight. I can already tell. Late night, deflating loss. We'll probably do a scoreboard when we get through the super chats because we only got a couple left. But I appreciate those of you staying up to watch this one, both this game and this post game with me. Especially you, Kevin Danishevsky, who's next. I love Josh Hart. Oh, man. But we got to stop treating him like he's the best player on our team. 46 minutes tonight, and his hesitancy entails 0 minutes of 5 out. Kevin, they're so shorthanded. I don't know what 5 out looks like. Okay, and what's funny is then you put up this super chat. Competitive loss on a back-to-back without Jalen Brunson. People got to chill. Okay, that does not match the energy of this super chat, Kevin. I thought there were stretches where Josh Hart was their best player, was the only one injecting pace into the team, was the only one running any semblance of an offense, the only one creating opportunities for Cat, opportunities, or initiating the offense, I should say. Is 46 minutes a lot? Sure. It's so more champagne minutes is what you want. Maybe when Tyler Kolek gets here and they find some magic, they can maybe they can go to a Deuce Tyler Kolek lineup if pigs fly as well. But I just don't have the energy for Josh Hart tonight. Has he been very frustrating over the last couple of weeks? Yes. Is the hesitancy to shoot very frustrating? Yes. Is his inability to make 3-pointers frustrating? Yes. I don't have it tonight, Kevin. This is just not the hill to die on after the game we just watched. It's 46 minutes a lot. Of course it is. I don't think this is a valid complaint after the game that we just watched. They're so very shorthanded. They just had the heart and soul of their team ripped from them. This was the desperate times for one night at least where they didn't have any practice time, call for desperate measures. So thank you, Kevin, as always, for the agenda-laden super chat. Much appreciated. Hope you're, again, buddy, I messaged you in the DM. Hope you're protecting your peace, man, because being enraged about 46 Josh Hart minutes in the middle of the night on a Friday into a Saturday night. Severance is good. White Lotus is good. All the shows are good, my man. So thank you, Kevin. Anthony Sixto, thank you for the super chat. The good, Mikal took some process steps I've been waiting to see. Deeper in the paint, free throws. The bad, no one seems to want to be the guy right now. Yeah, Anthony, this is going to be an interesting stretch for all of them, whether it be Mikal Bridges, whether it be Karl Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, guys who internally have maybe complained or voiced frustrations about their role in the offense. Well, now you got a chance because a whole lot of usage just disappeared, especially in clutch time. And I don't know who the guy's going to be, but you saw it from the start tonight. Like, okay, are you going to be the guy? No, Cat, are you going to be the guy? And suddenly you're down 9-0. I don't know who it's going to be. I would hope it's Mikal Bridges, to the point of your super chat. I would hope that, we see better outings from Deuce. I've personally seen better outings from Deuce. Maybe it's one of these rookies. Maybe we get a stretch from Tyler Kolek coming and making them better. We discover a weapon right before the playoffs and turn this very glaring negative into a positive. But yeah, I don't know who it's going to be. Look, I might be one of, especially staring at the chat tonight, I know I'm one of the only ones. I still think Tibbs is an asset, especially when you're shorthanded. I recognize there will be the pushback of like, we're shorthanded because of Tibbs, but I've seen him work magic when the going gets tough. That first We Hear season that nobody wants to remember, like Reggie Bullock was starting and playing productive minutes. Alfred Payton was largely bad that year, but he was the calming force to help them play even. So that way this second unit that he had put together could just blitz teams. And you had guys like Alec Burks and like very late 30s Derrick Rose. Nerlens Noel, a journeyman center, ended up starting playoff games. Taj Gibson on his last legs. Like, I know we're all thinking that like there's a ceiling on him, and I guess most people are thinking there's a ceiling on him, and all the bad things, all 24 of the losses that they've suffered this year, maybe 23 of the losses that they've suffered this year, all Tibbs' fault. But I still think he's an asset, and especially like a very good head coach that will be able to find a way for them to not like fall into the play-in over this stretch. And maybe it starts with Mikal, and maybe he's one of the guys that want to be the guy right now. So we'll see. Anthony, thank you for the super chat. It's much appreciated. Yanni Golan, again with a super chat. GMAC, that's exactly my point. The roster is way better, but on the court, it looks the same on offense. Only one man to blame in my eyes, the coach. It's not the same offense, man. It's just not the same offense. Yanni, okay. Now you're going to make me pull up the rankings from that season. So the Knicks in the 2019-20 season had the 27th ranked offense in the sport. Now the offense has gotten worse this year. I do have my frustrations and critiques of the offense. It's been much worse. It's been about top 10 not top 3 or 4 since January 1st, since that first Thunder game where they lost, right? Like, Yanni, I'm saying they're a top 10 offense instead of a top 5 offense, not a bottom 3 offense. The New York Knicks are currently the 5th best offense in the NBA. And if you want to go to that mark, that was a January 3rd game. I know because we did a watch party and everybody blames us for the loss. January 3rd against the Thunder till now, the Knicks are 16-13. The Knicks won 21 games in 2019-20. They already almost have as many wins that's this season or just since that stretch, since compared to that 2019-2020 team. So I get it. I hear the frustration. It doesn't look the same. It isn't the same. Is it worse than what it was in December? Yes, I agree with you. There is nuance to the conversation about Tibbs' responsibilities and how this team has seemed to regress over the course of this season. You want to blame the minutes. I think there's a conversation here. You want to blame how very Jalen Brunson dependent they've become. Fine, I'm with you. How he hasn't found a solution to them, to defenses switching as often as they have, not calling more stuff from McCall, not creating a less heliocentric offense that gets more people involved. I'm here for all of those conversations. It's not the same roster. It's not the same team. It's so much better than it was before Leon. It is so much better. I'm telling you, it is. I feel like we have to do a rewatch along, like a playback rewatch along of just a random game from the 2019-20 season. We should watch the Fizdale Nuggets game, all of us together, and just be reminded of how far we've come. Is it frustrating right now? Yes. But come on, let's exhale just a little bit. All the shows I've already recommended, Yanni. I'm begging you, and I know you speak for a lot of people, so please, but thank you. Okay, Kevin Danishevsky. Another one. Josh equals great, but 5 to 10 minutes of Cam plus other starters. I didn't think Campaign needed to play Cam plus the starters tonight. I didn't. I think Campaign is a 15. I really think he's a 10-minute player at this point in his career. His impact largely goes by whether or not he's hitting shots, and Campaign tonight was 2 of 7 from the field. So I know we're grasping at straws here, Kevin. You know I'm on the same bandwagon as you of Deuce plus the starters should have, in place of Hart, should have gotten more run than the 75 possessions we've gotten this year. That when an OG went down, it was ludicrous that we had to watch 2-3 weeks of Precious Achiuwa at the 4, and how glaringly obvious it was that the offense opened up when they were playing without Precious on the floor and instead getting Deuce McBride. Tonight, they were so significantly shorthanded to say oh, Josh Hart played too much. That's dude, there are hills to die on, and this was just not the one, Kevin. So listen, if your argument is more like this game didn't matter, let's just see it, that's actually fine. If that's what you're saying, I didn't care about the win today. I just wanted to see okay, we have to find other options. That's not the coach to do it, but that's a fair critique. Hey, let me just see what 5 minutes of Campaign with the starters looks like in place of Josh, right? So Josh plays 41 minutes and you get those 5 minutes. I think you're probably playing even. I don't think that, especially with how badly they were all shooting tonight, I don't think it would have mattered. But let's see it. Fine. If that's your argument and you don't care about the W, fine. But Josh Hart had 20 rebounds tonight. Excuse me. They've adjusted it. He had a career high 20 rebounds tonight. Largely positive impact from the guy, playing with pace, playing good defense, creating ending possessions with the boards. Yeah, I can't, Kevin. I'm sorry. Juan Soto's a Met, dude. Just keep saying that to yourself. But man, okay, thank you. Yanni Cullen with another one. I do appreciate the contributions, Yanni. You're basically my co-host tonight. If this team is just JB offense, why do I need this coach? So this is where the ire is coming from. I have a 2-month-old dude. The Knicks is my only outlet this sucks. First of all, congratulations and happy. I hope a very healthy 2-month-old. And best wishes to you and your family, your ever growing family. I very much appreciate it. That you're staying up with me. If this is your only outlet, I understand that the Knicks this week has been very frustrating. I get it. I think you can go to a lot of coaches and say, if this team is just JB offense, why do I need this coach? If the Nuggets, if Jokic turned his ankle, you're gonna find out how much of that team needs Mike Malone. What have we seen from Jason Kidd over the last couple weeks when no Luka and now no Kyrie and no Anthony Davis? A lot of coaches go, as far as their ceiling is concerned, by their best player. I think tonight is not the game to judge Tibbs' resume on. I think what he's been with this team, both pre-Brunson and after Brunson got here, is how you judge the floor of what they've been. And yeah, I think tonight was just more of an indication. And I actually thought Tibbs ran a lot of good stuff. You saw Mikal get more involved. You're asking for a less solely JB led offense. And I'm staring at a shot profile that everybody got involved tonight. Even Campaign, Kevin's favorite, Campaign, got 7 field goal attempts tonight. And the entire starting 5 got at least 12 field goal attempts tonight. They were a very balanced approach. And I think that's how they're going to have to. This is a guy in Tom Thibodeau who's, when Derrick Rose was out for the season, they won 49 games and Joakim Noah was 4th in MVP because they ran the offense through him. Last season, they lost Randall and lost OG. Jalen Brunson turned into an MVP candidate. Dante DiVincenzo turned into Klay Thompson. Isaiah Hartenstein turned into a player that a contender was willing to pay 60 or whatever, 70 something $1 million to over the next couple of years. And all of them credit Tibbs with their ascension. Now, some of that might just be, love for the coach. And I'm not saying all of it is him, but he's had less than 24 hours to figure out how to play or how to coach without an MVP candidate. It's going to take some time. And I'm Monday, they're not going to all figure it out. Maybe they'll hit shots Monday instead. But yeah, I think the floor that he'll create will always be appreciated. That floor does not go back to before Leon Rose, though. So, Yanni, best wishes to you and your family. I really mean that. Best wishes to you and yours. And I'm sorry that I can recommend other outlets to you. I promise you. I watched Severance before the Knicks game tonight. My wife and I carve out time to watch movies when we can, so that way I don't have to go on the internet ever. So thank you, Yanni, for the super chats. So that's actually it for the soups. I'm going to go to the scoreboard presented by T Squared Social. If anybody has anything else, I'll answer it before we get out of here. But shout out to T Squared Social. Exactly 1 week from today, since it is Saturday, will be our next watch party. Knicks will take on the Golden State Warriors. We'll have trivia beforehand, first, second, and third place prizes. There's a world where if the game goes a certain way, it's trivia at halftime as well. But the game starts at 8:30, so we'll try to start trivia around 7. So be there, be T Squared. Also get a free draft beer whenever you tell T Squared when you go there on non-Knicks watch party days that Knicks Film School sends you. You can visit tsquared.com to learn about club memberships, trivia nights, sports leagues, and much more. I'm going there later this week to shoot some promos, and I'm excited to take a couple swings in the golf simulator. They have Pop-A-Shot there. It's probably just by looking at me, you can tell I'm a frequenter of their menu, and their wings are outstanding. Yeah, they're a lot of good stuff at T Squared, so check them out. The out-of-town scoreboard. Let's see other teams that are clearly better than the Knicks, right? Because only the Knicks are bad. So the Cavaliers against the 14-48 Hornets won by 1 point. A big Evan Mobley put back. A big DeAndre Hunter put back late in that game. Helped the Cavs win their 13th straight game. It's just a good team that continues to roll. The Cleveland Cavaliers, 53-10. Miles Bridges with 46 points in that game. That's the only thing I'm going to say about Miles Bridges. In Toronto tonight, our boy Quickly had 34 points in a win over the Utah Jazz. The Grizzlies flirted with disaster against the Dallas Mavericks, but ended up winning on the road, 122-111. The Miami Heat lost at home to the Minnesota Timberwolves, a Timberwolves team where 7 teams scored in double figures. And Nobody scored more than 15 points. A very balanced attack to defeat the Miami Heat. Bam Adebayo, 29 points and 13 rebounds. I want to check this. The Terry Rozier stat line. Played 12 minutes and was -8 in the game they lost by 2. No idea why Spo is continuing to play him. I wonder if he's in on the alleged activity. Oklahoma City continues to roll 107-89 over Portland. The Nuggets with an is this a 2 overtime victory? Holy cow. 149-141. Did this game go into 2 overtimes or just 1? They scored 24 points in overtime. Chad, help me out. Is this a double overtime game or a solo overtime game? Regardless, 149-121. This is going to be some stat lines. Nikola Jokic, 31 points, 21 rebounds, 22 assists. All right, that'll play. Christian Braun, 21 of 40 from 3. My God, what I love a 21-3 game from a Knick. From the Knicks, I should say. 7 threes from Aaron Gordon, 4 threes from Christian Braun. Man, what used to be a Knicks team that hit threes. Kevin Durant, 29 points on the road in 46 minutes. So Josh Hart's playing Kevin Durant minutes these days. Devin Booker with 44 minutes. Bradley Beal, 41 minutes, was a -13 in a loss. Any frustration we're feeling as Knicks fans, if I don't know if you can find any solace in it, but you're not the Suns. We'll start there. We're not the Suns. And then 2 Knicks upcoming opponents. So the Kings, obviously, on Monday. Welcome back De'Aaron Fox to the building in a 127-109 victory at home. The Kings have actually been really good since trading De'Aaron Fox, and they get the win. The Spurs obviously their season has pivoted a bit since the loss of Victor Wembanyama. But yeah, looking at it, Zach LaVine, 36 points, 7 of 11 from 3. I will say the Kings play the Clippers on Sunday night in LA, and then they play the Knicks on Monday. So they'll be on the second night of a back-to-back on Monday. So we're hoping for multiple overtimes in the Knicks, in the Kings and Clippers game on Sunday. So that way when the Knicks head to Sacramento on 2 days off, and hopefully some answers, that they're a little bit more prepared for that matchup. That was the Out of Town Scoreboard presented by T Squared Social. And I don't think we'll do it for the Knicks Film School Postgame Show. We thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. I know I do. I know the entire team does. This was the KFS Postgame Show presented by BetUS. Programming note, study hall at some point on Sunday, I believe. I also would say DJ's got a film session dropping on Saturday afternoon. There is a Knicks Film School Patreon film session that's already dropped that covers the Knicks pick and roll defense against the Lakers, Luka and LeBron in particular, which is actually very good. Shout out to Tom Thibodeau, who apparently does game plan for teams. There's also a Patreon pod dropping. It was recorded before the JB injury, but it's John and DJ. They go through all the actual catastrophic situations in the NBA. So you could check that out. It drops at noon on Saturday. And then Sunday, John and Jeremy at noon, live again with the live edition of the Knicks Film School weekly recap. Jeremy back in the winner's circle. And then I'll be back on Monday at noon to preview another Knicks matchup. Preview the next Knicks matchup against the Kings. So that'll do it for me. Thank you to everybody for staying up with me tonight. If you dug the show, head over to iTunes, drop a 5-star rating and a review. If you're watching, please like this video. Remember to subscribe. And that'll do it for us. Until next time, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Have a good weekend, and I will speak with you soon. Peace.